This is a Walt Disney original little long-playing record, and I am your Disneyland story reader. I am going to begin now to read the story of Little Red Riding Hood. You can read along with me in your book. You will know it is time to turn the page when Tinker Bell rings her little bells like this. Let's begin now. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who had a new pair of red shoes. She also had a grandmother who was very fond of her. One day, Grandmother made her a pretty red cape with a hood. The little girl liked the matching outfit so much that she wore it everywhere she went. Everybody called her Little Red Riding Hood. One day, Little Red Riding Hood was helping her mother bake some cakes. They decided it would be nice if she took some to her grandmother, who had not been very well. So, while the little girl was putting on her red hood, her mother put some cakes and a jug of lemonade into a basket and covered them with a clean white napkin. Then Little Red Riding Hood said goodbye and set out for her grandmother's house. On the way, she met a wolf. "Where are you going, little girl?" asked the wolf. "And what have you got in your basket?" "I'm going to my grandmother's," said Little Red Riding Hood, "to take her some cakes and lemonade." "Where does your grandmother live?" asked the wolf. "She lives in the yellow cottage with the white door and the 2 maple trees in the front," she said. "It's on the other side of the forest." "I see," said the wolf. "It was nice meeting you, my dear." And with that, he left Little Red Riding Hood and turned down another path. The little girl had no way of knowing that the wolf had taken a short cut. He wanted to reach her grandmother's house ahead of her. When he got there, he knocked on the door. "Who is it?" asked a weak voice from inside the house. "It is your granddaughter. I have brought you some cakes and lemonade," said the wolf. "How nice! Just lift up the latch and come in, dear," said the grandmother. So the wolf opened the cottage door and went in. In a moment he had swallowed the grandmother. Then he put on a nightgown and cap, jumped into bed, and pulled up the covers. Little Red Riding Hood, in the meantime, had stopped to pick some of the lovely flowers that grew along the path. When she had a nice bunch, she started walking again, and soon came to the little cottage with the maple trees. She knocked on the door, which was not quite closed. "Who is it?" asked a voice from inside. "It is I, Little Red Riding Hood. I have brought you some cakes and lemonade." "Come in, my dear," said the wolf in his sweetest voice. So Little Red Riding Hood entered the cottage. She put her basket on the table and went over to the bed. "How are you feeling, grandmother?" she asked. To Little Red Riding Hood, her grandmother looked very strange indeed. "Much better, my dear," said the wolf. "Grandmother, what big eyes you have," said Little Red Riding Hood. "All the better to see you with, my dear," was the reply. "Grandmother, what big ears you have," said the little girl. "All the better to hear you with, my dear," said the wolf. Little Red Riding Hood was suddenly trembling. "And what big teeth you have," she said in a small voice. "All the better to eat you with," said the wolf, and with that he jumped out of the bed. But Little Red Riding Hood was even quicker. Before the wolf could catch her, she ran out the door of the cottage. The wolf ran after her. Just then, a woodsman who had been working nearby saw what was happening. The woodsman chased the wolf out into the forest and killed him. Then he cut him open. Out popped the grandmother, safe and sound. "What a relief," she said, and gave Little Red Riding Hood a hug. Then Little Red Riding Hood, the grandmother, and the woodsman all went into the house and had a party with the cakes and lemonade. Little Red Riding Hood was very careful after that about speaking to strangers.